gonna go check on the chickens, give you guys a little tour of the coop. We got a bunch of rain last night. Jim's leading the way. So I'll give you guys a little tour. So right off the bat, this is all built out of construction grade lumber and smart trim siding and trim. This here, these windows are repurposed from our basement remodel. These are our 2 nesting boxes. There's 3 nests in each. These are going to be getting replaced with the rollaway boxes. Here's the door. We'll just do the outside for now. So the run, I don't know the dimensions, I can't remember. But we had to put a roof on it because our chicks were flying out, and I know you can trim their wings and stuff, and we just felt like this would be easier. We do have a lot of avian predators in our area, so, and I'd like to free range them. I do a little bit, but they've been getting out and going on to our neighbors. You can see they've got trees, and chickens love to scratch around under trees, and so I've got a predator barrier that I dug a trench 2 feet down and 2 feet out. It ended up being probably about 16 inches out and about 2 feet down. That was a lot of work. We did have one animal try to dig in and was unsuccessful. We have had 0 predator issues here. For the rafters, I ripped down treated lumber. And you're supposed to let that sit for a year before you paint it. I didn't. And you can kind of see the paint's coming off, and I didn't prime it or anything. But that's okay. So all of our joints are kind of like tucked behind, so there's really no way for an animal to get in, and it's pretty well secured. This is just stapled. I use a crown stapler, and I use galvanized staples. Instead of getting the big, expensive fence stapler, I just use the crown stapler. It's a Milwaukee cordless, which is nice. So here's a coop door. I built this. This is pretty nice. It's not perfect. It's not super square or anything, but there's really no way for predators to get in. And this is where right in the corner something tried to dig in. You can still kind of see the remnants here, but they gave up. So, and then we have the automatic door, the Run Chicken Run. It's a lot of good reviews online. I've not been super pumped about it, but it's been doing okay, as long as there's some things I would do differently with that. Dirt builds up in the track on the bottom, and the door senses that and will automatically open because it has a safety feature. Also, because it's tight up against the coop, when it rains or any kind of moisture like freezing rain, that door can get froze open. But everything's all enclosed, so I'm not super worried about it. It's just on the cold Michigan days, I like to have something available for them. Then we got feeder and water. We got a heater in there, and that hose runs to our barn over here. So yeah, so we'll take you on the inside. So it's a gable style coop. We kind of wanted it to match our house. Metal roof. Everything's caulked. And you can kind of see I use like hurricane rafters. I ended up cutting them off. I think that's what they're called. But I ended up cutting them. I don't know if you can see that, but just so they wouldn't stick up. And a heavy duty latch here. I'll also show you some of the stuff I don't like. So here on this door, for example, when the wood chips build up, in the wintertime especially, it's hard to close the door. And here's their roosting. So you can see the framing. I probably overdid it on framing, but it vents really nicely. I have a ridge cap vent. Got a heat lamp in here. I don't like to use that all the time, but we get really extreme weather here in Michigan. So you can see the ladies in the nesting boxes. Here's their supplements. A little feed in here. Then I have electric coming in over here. This runs to the barn. One of the modifications that I made here is putting these little cleats where this roosting setup can be easily removed. So that kind of gives you an idea. Like I said, it is about, I think, 8 feet tall from ridge beam to floor. That's all construction grade timber. The floor is womanized decking, 3/4 inch. Then over here, there's 6x6 posts that are below the frost line here that I have cemented in. And then the frame of the house, of the chicken coop, rests on that. And so I left this high so that they could get some shade. And you want to leave it high enough so that they don't want to nest under there. And it's worked perfectly. I have had zero issues of having to crawl under there to get eggs. I don't think they've ever plopped an egg down there. So that's kind of it. Like I said, there's modifications that I think I'm, like the roosting bars that I wanted to make and that I've done. I'm gonna do a rollaway box. Just to prevent from brooding, like with the baby and everything. It's hard to find time sometimes to manage everything, and that would just make things a lot easier. We had hostas and lavender planted here. They love hostas, so they no longer exist, but for some reason they leave the lavender alone. So that's pretty nice. But yeah, so that's it. Hopefully you liked it. I've got some other clips showing some of the other stuff. I might put some gutters and do like rain collection and have like a rain barrel here. I've thought about doing the PVC drinking pipes. I'm sure you guys have seen on YouTube and stuff. So that's about it. Still have a bunch of chips. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like what you see, click the subscribe button. Yeah, turned out to be a nice day here. Early spring in Michigan. So thanks again for watching. There'll be more content coming. I've got tons of content. Trying to find time to film it all and to edit it and make the content is the tricky part. So we've got a lot of things going on the property here. So yeah, follow along. I appreciate everybody's support, and the likes and the subscribes are really encouraging, so I really appreciate that. And yeah, I enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. Have a good one.